everyone, hey and welcome back to yet another episode of Battle Rap Resume. This is your host Tom Quee. We're here with a preview. Really excited, to get into this. Great league, great guy, fresh from Sarcasm City. Cojay, how's it going?
Yeah, man, it's good. How are you?
I'm well, man. I'm well. That was a great interview, man. Shout out those guys. Very funny interview.
Yeah, it was interesting. Yo, I had to do it. They were saying things. I listened to a couple of the podcasts prior, and they were had a couple. There's sections with both guests where they were talking about UKBL and stuff. So I was like, look, I need to go on the show and set the record straight. At least I can say something for myself. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's been a long while since, we spoke about 6 months or so ago, and, UKBL really hasn't been in kind of the conversation much, but people are still aware of it, excited. Can you explain what happened? Because if I remember correctly, we did the episode in January, and there was supposed to be an event, a few months after, wasn't there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The event that was meant to go down at the time was called Broken Silence. We had Shocks versus Yunnan. And me versus Crafty and a few other battles that were supposed to happen. There was a lot of things that went wrong with that event. The major thing that happened that started, it created a train reaction was 3 weeks prior, once we'd already been promoting the event and selling tickets to the event, the venue said they couldn't do the Saturday anymore, and they wanted to move us to the Sunday. And after that, we had at least 5 of the MCs that we had ready for the event couldn't do the new day, and then we were trying to replace battles, and we just didn't have time to rearrange it properly. So, it was a difficult decision, but I had to be like, look, we're gonna have to put this one on hold and replan the way we go about things, and we'll come back in summer, and that's basically what we've done with this.
Bloodline, which we're going to get into shortly in Manchester. Really good card, really excited to get into this. But UKBL as a whole, I was checking out your YouTube today. You got 1,500 subscribers. It's not Battle Rap Resume subscriber numbers, but it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's getting there, right?
Yeah, so for one event and for 5 or 6 uploads, it's impressive.
Yeah, we did pretty well. The first event definitely got the hype. It was a shame we couldn't follow up so quickly, but I think we're lucky that the first event went so well that we're able to kind of now come back and kind of still have the hype around it. It's not at the same level as it was for From the Ashes, but obviously we're doing a slightly smaller event this time. I think I'm happy with how the first one went, and I'm sure this next few that we have planned are going to go just as well.
And just to go back quickly to Broken Silence, it was, Shock sharing his bars. What did you think of the material he had?
It was so good.
It's a shame. It's such a shame.
Oh, bro, that battle would have been incredible. I keep saying this. It would have been so good. That was one of the first battles we lost, and it had nothing to do with the date. Actually, Yunnan pulled out by doing this big Facebook post about saying he no longer wants to be involved in all of the bookings he has coming up and shit. So yeah, that was one of the first battles we lost, and it was a huge shame because I had all of Shox' material on my phone. He WhatsApped it to me, and I was like, that battle would have been levels, man.
Oh my god! And it's a shame as well. Yourself versus Craft, which I think anyone that's a fan of that sort of writing, of that sort of class that was coming through, would want a battle like that to go through. And Craft obviously won't spawn anything, but he sent me some of his material for the battle, and it was fucking astonishing, man. It's a shame again.
Yeah, I mean, he still has that. I haven't heard any of his stuff, vice versa. So that's definitely a battle that could still go down. On what platform? I'm not sure. I think I basically told Kraft, look, I'm game to do it whenever he's ready to do it. I know he's got his if I don't know what's happening with O'Flop at the moment, but if it's still happening. If it's still happening, I know he's got his big opponent at 0-2 to focus on at the moment. But it's definitely a battle that we'll do either on UKBL or elsewhere. So
completely. And one of the things that I sort of effused about when I had you and Cracker back when we were sort of previewing the initial event was the uniqueness of the UKBL concept of kind of having the table and the points. Is this going to be in force on Bloodline?
Yes, the only difference with Bloodline that was from FTA in terms of judging and how we're going to do league tables is that none of the tryouts will be put through the judging system. The tryouts will be judged. I'll just get 3 of the battlers in the room, and it'll be judged the way battles have been judged for ages. Only because I think, like, especially with tryouts, it's generally a lot easier to make a decision about who's taking it. Whereas it's a lot more subjective when you get to the more established guys, because people have style preferences and things like that. But when it's just the tryouts, I think, like, it's a case of, well, this guy's better or this guy. It's just easier to do it that way. And we don't have to put tryouts who may or may not be back to the platform through the system and onto the table. Do you mean that kind of thing? So, it will definitely be enforced, but only the 3 main events that we have, which are Jay Red Cannell, me, Bobby, and Osh Peace Order.
Oh, it makes sense. And just before we get into the battles themselves, one of the... I think it was a fair criticism. I don't think people were being harsh here. And, it's a learning curve doing events. Of course it is. I can't imagine. The cinematography at the first event, gave a lot of headaches to a few people. Any plans to address that with this one?
It gave me a whole lot of headaches, actually. Shouts out to them in a way, because they'd never done, like... live events type things before. They'd only done, like, music videos, indie films, that kind of thing. And to be honest, they in terms of audio, they saved a couple of those battles, but, well, one of those battles, Villain versus Rivers in particular, and when you have headphones, you'll still hear it. We had a lot of noise coming in from downstairs that night. That I was very surprised that we even managed to have a uploadable audio from that battle afterwards, because we had a lot of noise pollution coming in from downstairs. So they sorted that. But when it comes to the actual angles that were taken, the main angle we basically couldn't use because of the positioning of the lights. We only kind of cut to it very briefly. It's definitely being addressed. I mean, the team we have shooting the Manchester event, this Bloodline event, is a whole different team of people. In fact, one of them is worked with Don't Flap before. We have Sam Strix.
Right. Oh, shit.
He's main angle for this event, and will probably be main angle for most of our North events too. So yeah, we're definitely addressing that, and I think we'll get it pat down for this one.
Yeah, dope. As I say, I mean, it was your first thing, and it was a success, I think, mostly, the first event. I think critically, in terms of the battles, most importantly, came out really, really well. And this is the 5th of August in Manchester. I used to live in Manchester briefly, so I'm aware. This is in the Terrace Bar, is in the Northern Quarter, is that right?
Yes, yeah, it's up in the Northern Quarter near the Cane and Grain.
That's pretty cool, man. I mean, like, sometimes battle events can be in, I'm thinking of North East South, for example, which was a great event recently, but it was all the way out in the boonies, you know what I mean? It was just a bit of a nightmare to get to. This is central as fuck, and a quick Google image search, it's a pretty classy venue.
Yeah, pretty bougie venue. Actually, we're upstairs in a part of that bar that I didn't even know existed. Like, upstairs they have this kind of like a private smoking area outside the actual terrace itself. And it's like there's like kind of like French windows up from this room straight onto this terrace. With the smoking area. So I think it's going to look really good on footage, and it's going to be good vibes to kind of be out there. We'll probably have the terrace to ourselves in that respect. So, it's going to be a nice place, and I'm happy it was as central. I mean, first we were looking at venues like Cojay, which again is like... it's kind of a similar size. I mean, I think this venue is a little bigger. The room we have for this venue is a little bigger, but Cojay's out in Fallowfield, so it's a little bit more out of the way. And I went out in Manchester and tried to find something that we could use that was more central and easier to get to, especially for me, because I like to just be able to get the tram and be there.
Oh yeah. And talk to me about the sort of the thinking behind Bloodline, because obviously it's all very well and good having different leagues, but you need different characters, don't you? You need your own cast, and when you look at specifically American leagues, there are RBE battlers, there are We Go Hard battlers, there are Spit That Heat battlers. Like, is this the kind of, you're trying to get at the UKBL archetype? Yeah,
that's definitely what it is. I mean, we chose the name Bloodline because we want it to be the UKBL Bloodline, in a sense. Do you know what I mean? It's going to be the event that we run in between our bigger events. So, like, our From the Ashes style events. We'll have, like, 3 of them a year. That includes, like, the anniversary party, which we got a big one kind of scheduled for this year. But in between those events, we're going to be doing Bloodline mostly, where we do like 3 or 4 main events to 3 or 4 tryouts and bringing back the people who were successful in the last Bloodline events. And we're going to do it in lots of cities. So we're doing it in Manchester now. It'll either be London or Leeds next. It's really dependent on my headliner for Bloodline London, when he's available, whether we do the Leeds or London event next. But I got plans like to even go do like a Bloodline Bloodline Glasgow.
Yeah.
Dublin.
Dublin.
Yeah, Dublin. Yeah, that's fire.
Right. Yeah. Soliloquy still got it, but I mean, let's get on to the first battle. Inevitably, I appreciate you trying to bed in your own talent here, but you've got to sort of just take people from other leagues when you begin this sort of thing. Some of these names are going to be familiar. Woe Betide, obviously, a lot of people know. But then DMAC, is this a new guy?
Yes, a new guy. I mean, we have 4 guys out of the 6 tryouts that are actually never battled before. DMAC is Manchester based. He's more like a kind of trap rapper, like out of the material I've heard from him. I mean, so it'll be interesting to see how he transitions. I think I gave him to Woe Betide because I really already know what to expect from Woe Betide. Obviously, he's the reinvented Callum Boom.
Of course, yep.
So I already kind of know what to expect from him. So I want to see kind of how someone who's never really battled before can go and look at this guy's material and kind of build his rounds around it and see if he makes that transition successfully. So obviously it's about both of them and about both of their performances, but the reason I matched them up specifically is because I wanted to see how he would attack someone who's kind of established and already has a history.
Yeah, and Woe Betide, he seems to be on the upswing at the moment. I recently saw him. We did a little interview on the channel, and he did the ghostwritten battle with Lefty, and the writing was really good, actually. It was pretty entertaining stuff, so this will be interesting. Now, these are 2 guys, you mentioned quite a few of them hadn't tried out. Typed versus GI, is that right?
Yes, Typo, actually.
Typo, right, yeah.
Yeah, Typo versus GI, yeah. Typo is up here in Manchester. He makes like R&B, soul, rap music, so he does like a lot of singing, a lot of rapping. And GI they're both actually originally London, but they live in the north now. And GI is like a new school garage MC almost. That's the best way I could describe him. Both make really, really good music. And I matched them together basically. Neither of them have battled before, and they're both making really decent music. And I think it'd be interesting to see how they adapt to the styles they've already got on their music to their battles, and matching them up just based off each other, listening to each other's music should be interesting. I think that battle will turn out good.
Yeah, and then we get the final tryout here. Herb D versus Conman Curve, who I watched him versus Titan recently. I like Conman Curve, man. He's got a lot of potential. This could be quite cool.
Yeah. I mean, I matched them up again, I think, pretty specifically because Herb D was meant to be, so was Woe Betide, to be fair. It was meant to be Herb D versus Woe Betide at Broken Silence. But Herb D sent in a video. He's never battled before, but he sent in a video to AMB while we were getting tries for Broken Silence, and it was pretty decent. I mean, what we did is we asked anyone who was applying to do a 1-minute round against a random MC. This one we told them, I think, to write for C major.
Oh, I like that idea, man.
Yeah, it was decent. I mean, it was Ambi's idea. I can't take credit for that.
That's a good idea.
So he sent us like a 1-minute a cappella round about C major, and he was good, man, real decent. So I think, obviously, I've seen Conman Curves, both as his battles on Dub Scandal, and he improved a lot from his first battle onto the second, and I think he's going to do so again, given this trial. Also given the format as well, because I know Dub Scandal, they do longer rounds, and for our tryouts, like, we're doing just 3 rounds, 1 minute each, so it'll be nice to see how what kind of material he packs into, knowing he only has that small amount of time to get his point across. So that's his trial. I actually have a lot of faith in. I think it's going to be really good.
Yeah, no, definitely good to see him going onto a new platform as well. So we get to the first of our kind of headlining battles, our kind of more established battles here. I'm a huge fan of Canel, both as a person, as a guy to have on the show, as a battler. He's an awesome guy. Him versus J Red. That's pretty inspired matchmaking, Cojay.
I can't take credit for that one. I was going to set up, what was it, Canel versus Jay Dillon first.
Okay,
And I hollered at Jay Dillon. Jay Dillon was actually busy on the day. He'd just done the Iron Bars event in Glasgow, so he wasn't able to do it. And then I asked Cannell, I was like, "You got any ideas?" And he threw Jay Red at me, and Jay Red had actually already inboxed me prior talking about wanting to do a battle, so I thought that was a pretty easy match to make. And like, I'm a fan of both of these guys. Like, I think Jay Red is pretty dope. I remember seeing him live in a couple events. He's had a bad run of people who choke horribly. Yeah. But given a good opponent, I don't know, Cannell's not going to go in there and choke. I've seen enough of his battles to know he's going to put in a decent performance. So, yeah, I think that's going to be a dope battle. Like, it's going to be hysterical.
Yeah.
So.
No, they are absolutely, great fit for each other, great styles. Great to see Cannell, expanding yet again. He goes to all these leagues. He really is a sort of nomad of battling. I know King of the Realms is sort of his natural home, but, the guy's been overseas and obviously now coming to UKBL as well, which is very, very cool. Next battle, one of the things in Sarcasm City that I didn't really get, they were saying that it was quite arrogant of you to put yourself against Tony on the, the headline thing. For me, Cojay, and I'm not just saying this because you're on the show, I am a fan of you. That's one of the selling points of UKBL, that you're kind of the headliner against big names. Like, it's just kind of quite a cool thing here. You versus Bobby. How are you feeling about this one? It's quite a new challenge for you.
Yeah, that's kind of why I wanted to do it, Like, I wanted... Bobby was definitely going to be on the card regardless, like, because if I'm doing a Manchester card, it's got to be, like, Bobby's, like, one of my first shouts, I mean. Yeah. So I was thinking of matchups for him, and then I was like, well, like, I'm going to battle, obviously. I think I've just recently come back to battling, and I'm back on it. I want to do it again, and I thought, if I take Bobby, I mean, I haven't really battled that kind of a style. Do you mean he's not gonna come at me trying to like punchline, go bar for bar with me or anything? So I've kind of got to change my own approach to kind of negate what I already know he's gonna do. And I haven't started writing for it yet. I've already got Zen battling on Dope Flap Zone. Yeah. So I haven't gotten to writing for it, but I know it's going to be an interesting time trying to write for that. I think I'm going to have to do things a little bit differently and kind of conceptualize my rounds a little differently. But I thought the main reason for wanting to do that is because I know I would have to change things if I didn't want to go in there and kind of get played doing my own style.
Well, I mean, you say doing your own style, but you've got Bob, you've got Rex, name flips galore.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, they're definitely gonna show themselves. I mean, I need to do name flips for this one because Faris doesn't exactly have many opportunities, so I'm gonna make the most out of the ones I got for this one. This is a fun matchup. I mean, Bobby. Don't get me wrong, I always say the guy is off the charts talented. He's a little inconsistent battle-wise. I think he's got to be on his game here as well, because you're no slouch. Mm-hmm. I mean, I guess that's also a reason why we match, because I'm not the most consistent of battlers. I mean, recently I've been doing my last few were pretty good. But I know what Bobby had his little stumble or his little choke against Osh. He also, I think, recently choked against Mackenzie up in Iron Bars. Mm-hmm. But now that his last battle was a choke, I don't expect him to be coming in unprepared for this. So.
Oh no, definitely hometown as well, and obviously the guy is real power in the ring. But
get
to the top of the card. Of course, O'Shea, a UKBL regular now with his second battle against Peace Soldier. Another really fun matchup, this one.
Yeah, I mean, I was speaking to Osh when I was first trying to find a match for him, and I said Peace Soldier would be a dope match. He told me that they actually already battled. Now, I don't know what platform it was on or what card or whatever, but apparently they already battled, but like they were both trashed, like way drunk, and it never came out. So, and not many people were actually in the crowd to see it. So, I know they're all writing new bars for it and whatnot, but like I thought, well, if it's not out and nobody's really seen it, then if you guys are game, we'll do it again, like do it properly and get it out. So hopefully we'll get a more sober Osh so we can actually put the battle out, but it's gonna be fucking hysterical. I mean, as a match, it seems to me like a no-brainer. I mean, P Soldier actually doesn't get too many like big names as a solo.
True.
So I think it's about time for him as well. What P Soldier's battled like Pedro. I don't really know who else.
Yeah, he's battled like Wilsey, Enigma. Like he's having an incredible 2017. Though. Obviously, battled Shufflo and Afghan Dan, and now O'Shea. This is just another step in the right direction. Shout out to O'Shea, by the way. I don't know if I should be revealing this, but whatever. O'Shea and Pamphlet are supposedly starting their own wrestling podcast soon.
Oh, right, sweet.
O'Shea reached out to me and he was like, "Do you want to be on the podcast?" And I sort of said to him, like, I literally know what I know about wrestling is to get bars. Like I like wrestling, but I don't know anything about it. I've only learned about wrestling through battle rap. I think I might be on the pilot episode, so look out for O'Shea and Pamphlet's wrestling pods. Like I'm sure battle rap wrestling fans are going to be salivating over this. But yeah, this is another great matchup, and I like the card as well, man. It's quite a slim card, isn't it? 6 battles, 3 tryouts, 3 mains, nothing too heavy. Yeah,
I mean, I wanted. It should just be good vibes over the day if we do it. We're going to probably do it like 2 battles at a time, 2 battles break, 2 battles break kind of thing. And I mean, it was either going to be 3 battles, 3 main events, and 3 tryouts, or 4 main events and 4 tryouts. I didn't want to do more tryouts than I was doing established battles, just because of the vibe on the day. I didn't want it to be like it's dragging. I've been to... or I've tried out at a tryout event, and I know how they can be sometimes when you have no idea what to expect from people, and if none of them really come through.
Shout out Gove.
Yeah, shout out Gove. Bro, Gove was like one of the top performers that day. Do you know what I'm saying?
Like, it's a good battle, man. Like that is a fun battle. So, I mean, moving forward, obviously this is really, really promising. 5th of August, I should say. Pick up your tickets, ukbl.co.uk/tickets. I'm sure you can get them up on the day as well. Really interesting event here. You're talking about the Bloodline events coming up. What is the plans? How many events do you reckon UKBL are going to throw before the end of the year?
I think at the moment the way it's planned is we got this Bloodline Manchester, and then I do want to do both Leeds and London this year, and then the first anniversary party around the same time as From the Ashes happened.
Right. So you can't call it a birthday though, can you, for copyright reasons? The anniversary party TM.
Yeah, exactly. We got to kind of change the trademark up a little bit to avoid those lawsuits. But yeah, so I think we've got this one. So by the end of the year, we'll have done 4 events this year, which I mean slowed us down at the beginning, but Bloodline kind of just gives us an opportunity to start next year pretty easily. And I think we're going to do Broken Silence, because there is the possibility that we'll bring back Broken Silence this year. Instead of doing a Bloodline event in London, we'll do a bigger Broken Silence event. But I don't know whether or not we're going to do that, or we're going to wait until we were meant to do it this year, around the same time next year, and just like pick up where we left off. But that's still to be decided.
And in terms of like personnel, you mentioned Ambi before. Is it yourself, Ambi, and Cracker? Is that the sort of the main guys?
Yo, Ambi's left, you know.
Oh, right. Came in with that C major idea and just...
yeah, exactly. But around the same time as all the other staff were leaving Don't Flap, he called me and said he's doing such and such, and he wants to take a step back. It's nothing like bad blood or there's been a problem, or it's just like he has other things he wants to do at this point.
But Crack Dog's still your right-hand man, right?
Yeah. So it's me and Cracker still doing things, and I think it's probably going to remain that way for some time.
And I mean, UKBL's all very well and good, but obviously you've got your own battle career, which is back on point, which I'm very happy to see. I haven't seen you versus Frankie yet, but from what I'm hearing, it was dope.
Yeah, it was a dope battle. I mean, we did that on 2 days prep. So yeah, for the prep time it was on. I mean, even that aside, it was a 1-rounder, and it was actually really good. Frankie had some dope bars. I had a pretty decent performance. We both had a couple stumbles and whatnot, which was bound to happen. But I think it didn't really take away from the battle itself. The crowd liked it. It'll be good if it comes out. It'll be a good watch.
And talk to me. What is 2 days prep? What's 2 days prep like in that sense? Were you writing up until the moment you're on stage? Are you rehearsing a day I wrote all my stuff. I
I tried to write most of it on the first day.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second day, I was still writing, but doing a lot of structuring, so figuring out where I was going to put certain ideas. And then on the coach, the way there, I was just like doing little edits and adding little pieces, timing my round to see how long I was going to go for. And basically, I didn't know whether or not I knew my material, even when I was on the stage. Do you mean I was finding out at the same time as the crowd whether or not I remembered my stuff? So it was interesting. I mean, it's not really something I want to jump ahead and do again anytime soon, but it was fun, and I'm glad that I proved to myself that I can actually do it.
And, you know, I mean, I say I haven't watched it. Maybe I'll never watch it because seemingly, you know, Don't Flop. I don't want to get, like, a lot of people have been asking, I should say, if I'm going to do an episode on Don't Flop. Some, you know, staff have asked me if they want to come on and do it. Personally, I don't want to kind of, you know, do too much kind of expose or whatever. It's their business. But, I mean, you know, as a battler involved, it's just crazy shit, right?
It's pretty crazy, yeah. It's pretty crazy. I mean, I'm not sure I'm surprised, but I am kind of surprised at how it's kind of come out so suddenly. If it were to happen, I thought it was going to be something like that didn't really stop Don't Flop. Like, Don't Flop aren't even putting battles out. I didn't know it was going to go that far. I mean, I hope that it all comes to some kind of a resolution pretty quickly, because we have so many, even the checkpoint battles aren't out yet. We're about to go do this Revival 9 event on the 8th, so we got like a week and a half, less than that, before we got to go do this event, and we already have like 3 events worth of battles that aren't on the channel.
The atmosphere is going to be weird, isn't it? Because it's going to be like, are these battles even going to be released? It's kind of, because it's post the scandal. I mean, of course they will eventually, but it just, I mean, who knows? It might be the reverse, and it might be like the last gasp or hurrah, or, you know, obviously myself, you know, like millions of others, we don't want millions, maybe not millions, remember there's a problem, but hundreds of thousands, you know, we don't want Don't Flop to go under, and I'm sure it won't. But finally, Revival, you know, you're facing off against Zen. Good. I like that. I like that kind of that thinking there. And Zen, am I right in saying like he last battled Quill off beat? That was his last off beat battle, like 5th birthday.
I think he had one after that at a training days versus Soweto Kinch, but it was like
a freestyle. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a freestyle battle.
Yeah, and it had like loads of pedo bars. I was actually there.
Yeah. Oh right. Okay.
Yeah. There's just like loads of like odd molestation like freestyles.
Yeah, it was a weird battle, but I think his last proper acapella was the 5th birthday against Quill, which I was actually there for as well. I was behind Quill, I think.
Yeah, you battled Craze there, didn't you?
No, I was Bizzo.
Oh, Bizzo, that's right. Bizzo,
yeah, it was Bizzo. So that's definitely an interesting match. I mean, I've been keeping updated with his grime clashes and whatnot, but obviously it's a totally different animal going to acapella than battling on beat. And I mean, it's my writing for it is going to be interesting. I think I'm going to be like, I'm just going to go for bar for bar for bar for bar basically the entire time. I think it's just going to be like punchlines round by round, just taking several angles and trying to make punchlines out of it. Whereas I don't know, like Zen's style, I mean, I don't know how much it will have changed from his other acapella performances, where I think he's like, it's a lot of multis and very like flow multis and like personal based as well. He tries to make his rounds very personal. So I expect basically that there's not much more I can go off than that. But either way, I'm aiming to put in a good performance for that one.
Yeah, no, hyped. Definitely hyped for that one. So, yeah, I guess to just wrap up, this is, you know, Bloodline going down the 5th of August. If you're in Manchester or anywhere nearby, you'll be a fool not to go down. The card is going to be great. You know, the league, you know, it's great to see, like, an interesting new league sprout out with a lot of talent behind it, you know, a lot of talent battling within it as well. Get your tickets, UKBL. I mean, social media, it's all just at UKBL, that sort of stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, it's at the UKBL on basically everything, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that shit. So, yeah, get tickets, ukbl.co.uk/tickets. It'll be the one of many Bloodline events happening this year, so if you don't want to go to Manchester, you'll have one near you in South or somewhere coming up very soon.
All right, dope. Well, Cojay, thank you so much, man. It's been great as ever.
Yeah, man. Good fun. Always fun doing this.